So we're happy to be here for Walking Wednesday. I think this is one of the bigger turnouts we've had at a Walking Wednesday.
So this field has been so successful that we're working to build Beacon Southwest. So as we do Walking Wednesdays, we try to think about assets and opportunities in all of our neighborhoods. Every neighborhood across the city has really excellent things happening and things that need improvement. And so the best way that we know to understand what's happening in a neighborhood is actually come out and see it and talk to people and to bring out folks who are in charge of these projects or make decisions about these projects to talk directly with you as citizens. In addition to that, we're giving away ice cream bars out of the patrol car today. Did we bring the music? So we'll play the ice cream truck music in the patrol car and pass out ice cream bars. So kids, people, will come out from everywhere. We had a great time with that up in Genesee last week, and it becomes kind of this roving parade around the neighborhood, which is really fun. We've got some materials for you, but I want to do a couple of intros first. So the team that's here, Brett Kaczynski is the Director of Parks and Rec, and he's here today to give a couple of updates about things going on in the park and answer questions about those projects. Like to thank City Councilman Peter Spatafor for being here. He's an at-large council member and lives just on the other side of MLK as well. Andy Kilpatrick is the Director of Public Service, so all things CSO, he can answer those. So he'll really take over your inquiries as we get down into that area. Spanning along, Mike McKissick will talk about the Mikey 23 project, the house that's being rebuilt on the corner of Smith and Sterling. But Officer Danko is right here, who is the CPO for this area. And then, of course, Mayor Schor. He's here today to give a couple of updates.
When we were knocking doors, I had talked to a lot of people in Morris Park. I have a lot of friends in this neighborhood. But, we heard a lot of questions about the pavilion, about the CSO, about the pool, things like that we want to make sure to address as people have questions. So the Walking Wednesday is actually pretty convenient to be able to come out and hear the questions, hear the concerns, and kind of give you our perspective. So those are the three issues, again, that I know that I've heard about through Morris Park. In terms of the pool, Brett can address that. It's a work in progress. We've put a lot of money into that pool, and we're putting a lot more into it, and it's not in the best of shape. And if we wanted to replace the pool, it's about $1 million that we don't have. That would be basically our whole millage for the city, and that would leave other parks and playground equipment and a whole variety of things without any resources. So we continue to band-aid that, but we really are going to have to look at some kind of a permanent ending of how are we going to deal with the pool. It's a great resource for the community. Again, I've got one of my best friends lives right down the street, and she said they use it all the time, and I think it's great, but we have to figure out where the resources are going to go. So no decisions have been made, but we're going to continue to have conversations about a tough issue. The pavilion, I was here last year as a state rep, as Brett held several meetings here to talk about the pavilion, and we are going to put something new up. It's not going to be in the same location because the location tips. So they had to kind of build it upward. We're going to put it on a more flat surface. But again, we've had several conversations with the neighbors, and we're happy to continue to have those conversations. Peter actually is going to address a little bit. Peter went out so Councilman Spatafor went out and actually raised money for the pavilion, and I'll let him kind of address that. But it was really very impressive. He clearly cares about the neighborhood, so I appreciate that. And then the third issue is the CSO, which I know Andy will address as you walk. In terms of this area, it really is difficult to have streets closed, not be able to get to driveways and things, but I will tell you all, you're getting new streets. And there are a lot of neighborhoods that are really jealous about that. So it's always complicated and tough, but there are positives. You're getting separated sewers that's not going to throw waste into the river, so that's good. And we're not going to get penalized by the federal government, also good. So we're we're working on it. We're listening to concerns and questions. Andy's been very open to making sure that it all structures the right way. We have the Lansing Connect app that I would highly recommend you put on your phone or use on your computer. If you see a pothole that you want fixed, you put it in. We are getting there average 24 or 48 hours. In an average 48 hours, we'll get that pothole fixed. That's not to say we're going to fix every street, in 48 hours. If we could, that would be a minor miracle, and we'd put a statue up to Andy Kilpatrick. But we're doing the best we can do with the funds that we have with the roads. Same thing with sidewalks. We're trying to look at process for sidewalks right now in Lansing ordinance with a sidewalk. If a sidewalk does one of these, or you want your sidewalk fixed, you go to the city. You have to pay half. The city pays half for the sidewalk in front of your house. But I got two kids. I got a 13-year-old and an 11-year-old, and they were little. And when I would walk to the park with my kids, I'm not just walking on my sidewalk. I'm walking on all the sidewalk to the park. So sidewalks really are an area-wide issue. So the question is, if there are bad sidewalks, how do you get all the neighbors together and decide, how are we going to do this area-wide? How is the city gonna to do it? So we're having a lot of those conversations internally. Those are some of the bigger issues that I hear about daily. So again, if there's no comments or questions for me, then
I have one.
oh, please.
There.
Yes, ma'am.
So one thing I've actually been in contact, I'm Michelle Bruno. I had emailed Andy a while back because a lot of neighbors are having issues with speeding.
With speeding?
Yes,
Okay.
so not only on this road, but other areas, streets, especially with the construction, because people are trying to bypass and be fast. And so I did notice actually that someone actually got pulled over in front of the park recently, which was a surprise. And I don't know if it was for speeding or whatever, but just a little more enforcement.
Yeah.
I know you guys are all busy and everything, but
Sure.
people fly down the street.
Speeding is one of the common things that I would get. Anywhere there's a straightaway thoroughfare. So we've talked about that internally. That there's the temporary fixes. We can't put cops on every street. We just don't have enough. We don't have the resources for that. If we could clone these folks, by 100, we still wouldn't have enough. So we put the big cart thing there that tells you how fast you're going. And I lived in Sycamore Park for 10 years, and I remember in 2002, we had the conversation on traffic calming. Should we have speed humps? Speed humps will slow down speeders because as soon as they go airborne and they mess up their, the underneath of their car, they're not doing it again. But some people are for them and some people are against them. In my neighborhood when we had it, at the time the city needed, I think 60% of the neighbors to agree to it. And in my neighborhood they did. And then afterwards I got complaints as a county commissioner. I don't want to go over these speed bumps to get out of my driveway. I have to go over 3 speed bumps, but I don't like the speeders. So we're trying to offer. We're trying to work
Any
on
solutions. I know you are. It's just something.
and we will,
that's an
we'll
issue.
log that. Captain Green has he hears it, and we'll get people. But you can't sit someone there all the time. If they sit someone randomly, and then speeders think, shoot, there may be someone there. Things like that, we're very open to. And again, we try and log those complaints. In my office, I have a new staffer named Mark Lawrence. Who actually, they lived in Morris Park. They moved last year because they needed a bigger house. They're up in Groesbeck now. But they lived on Sparrow, actually. But he's our citizen advocate. So for me, call my office, tell Mark, hey, we're seeing a lot of speeders. He'll log that. He'll let LPD know. And then they'll do their best to adjust. We have our CPO here and others who, maybe they sit someone there, once in a while. And maybe it's part of a rotation. So I think that it's something we try and address, but you can't always get them all. And again, maybe the speed humps, maybe you need more of those. Maybe you don't like those. Again, there are enough people who really hate them. It's always controversial. So you can put stop signs up, but people are going to blow the stop signs. If they're going, they're going to blow the stop signs anyway. So we're doing our best to rotate through, and I appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Andy was very responsive.
Good.
So it's great.
Good, and that's what we like to hear. We always tell people customer service is top priority. Can't always solve everybody's problems, but we can respond, look into it, and see what we can do to try and help without, promising the world. This is important. Morris Park is important to me and to our administration, and showing you what's going on, hearing from you as we go. These are important things to me, so I appreciate you showing up and committing your time to this.
Thanks. All right, so I'm going to have Brett Kaczynski talk about the projects here, and then we'll head out after that. I do want to make a note that Gina Paluzzi is here, and she's the director of the Ingham County Land Bank. So she can talk to you about land bank houses and projects in this neighborhood. All right, Brett, you want to talk about the parks project?
Sure. Just a few things here before we talk about pavilion and pools that I wanted. We are noticing, and you probably saw an article if you read the City Pulse today about the defoliating of the trees. So we are aware of it. I don't know if these have been hit as well, but there's gypsy moth in the area. It really usually affects the bigger, more mature trees. And so over there on Britain, Sparrow in that area on the other side, we're aware of it. We do not think that this is going to be a issue. They'll bounce back from this, is basically the gist of it. But we're going to be taking counts, and if it's something that we need to spray, we will. But spraying now wouldn't do anything on it. The dam, we did some clearing out of the vegetation there. You should be seeing, and LPD should be seeing, probably some less issues there. It gives a lot better sight line when you're coming up to that area. So we did some clearing out there. We still may be doing some landscape to try and fix up that area, and the fence there as well.
Questions to kind of piggyback on hers that she made earlier, since we have so many of our officers here right now too, is that along with like the traffic situation and all of that, it's this parking lot and that parking lot that I think a lot of us are concerned about in terms of just having police presence when it's available, because obviously the sign, isn't applicable for this parking lot or for down there, and most of the time when people are here after dark, it's for reasons that are not good. We really appreciate all the things that you officers do for our community. Thank you.
One of the popular activities here is basketball, and you probably saw down there by the tennis courts that we expanded the use of that, and I have not heard any complaints back on that, so that seems to be going very well. Basketball is very popular, and it's an issue that in smaller parks becomes an issue here, where it is further away from the houses, etc. It works. So we've had an expansion of that. That's gone well. The soccer nets was through a grant. That seems to be going well in that area, as well as the trees that were planted. You see a lot of mature trees here, and that's good. But if you don't have a natural area, then you have to be planting. And thanks to the neighborhood association for doing that planting, because that gives trees in the future, years there. So the bathrooms, I know that was an area that Mayor Schor, when he was walking around, we are attempting here a locking system that is basically dawn till dusk. So if there are issues with that, we need to know about it right away. So it isn't a situation where if you have a rental or for the neighborhood association that we have a key for you. We're trying. We have this at Washington Park, at Morris Park, and at Grand River Park, where the bathrooms open and close automatically. So, and then we have staff in there daily at that. We have a little bit of a drainage problem with the sidewalks draining towards the bathrooms there. I'm going to have to get a look at that, what we can do. But in the budget was placed money to fix the pavilion. We got the input from the neighborhood, an excellent survey on that, and really great respondents. 100.
Right around a little over 150, I think.
So nice response. I mean, that's great. So we got the input of the neighborhood. We will be bringing on a consultant to design the pavilion. We already know what the neighborhood wants as far as how that looks. It will be right in the same vicinity. Just this side, which would be to the south of that. I'll just say that we have a construction company locally that is going to be chipping in. It probably will not fund the whole thing, but they are going to make a significant dent into that. So I don't know that we're ready to announce who that is yet, but
But when they're ready to announce, we'll let you know.
yeah, it'll very cool. I mean, they saw the story and hopped on board, so I think good things are coming with that. So any questions on pavilion? Then I'll skip to the pool real quickly so you can get walking before it downpours here.
No, it's not going to rain.
It's not, I know.
It's not
Yeah,
rain.
we got a concert tonight at Ferris, so it's not going to rain. the pool opened. We did have some problems with the pump on that, so it was a little bit delayed. Staff did a really good job getting that pool opened up. We have significant issues to the pool. We know that. And those are a struggle for us. The pool is open. It will be going through August. The good news, I guess, for parents is we don't have as long of a summer now because Lansing schools are going to be going back before Labor Day, which is good. That helps us out with things in the summer as well. So any questions on the pool or anything else, I guess, Parks and Recreation related?
I'd just like to make a request. A lot of times when we stop people, particularly in this lot and over there, they give the excuse, I didn't know the park closed at dusk or at 9 p.m. If we could work on some better signage, it'd be greatly appreciated over here and over in that parking lot.
Better than that?
Yeah, better, a little bit better than that.
I think we can do better than that. Yeah. And then there's some, so we'll put them, there's some lighting right in the parking lot down there. So we'll just put them on those poles. And yeah, so we did an ordinance change. It used to be that parks closed at 10 p.m. We changed that to parks close at dusk. It's what everybody knows. And
It's my first ordinance. I was very proud of that.
at 10 p.m. in November, you don't need to be down there. So it's that simple. So.
Okay, so you are standing at St. Casimir School, which is operated out of here, as well as South Lansing Community Development Association. We have a nonprofit that is in the old principal's office. And if you would have ever said to me that I would be in a Catholic school principal's office for anything good in my life, I would have laughed at you. But now I sit behind the former principal's desk. So I sit where Sister Florian used to sit. And we run our nonprofit out of here, and we do a lot of local food access. We have farm land in South Lansing. We have gardens and greenhouses. We also run the farmers market, which is here in the parking lot every week on Thursdays from 3 to 7 in the summer through October. There's a garden across the street, which you guys will, I'm sure, walk by and totally dig on because we love community gardens, right? We have them all over South Lansing, and many of our vendors here are actually community gardeners who sell at the market. In addition to that, we have the Southside Community Kitchen here, which is an awesome addition. So there are free meals here that are no questions asked, no ID needed. You show up at 11:30, or actually earlier because they play cards and drink coffee in the morning. A lot of the time in the summer when we grow produce down at Hill, if you guys are familiar with Hill, at the old Hill High School, there's a greenhouse and a hoop house down there, and she manages all the production down there on 4,700 square feet of basically arable land and greenhouse land. And all of the food that is produced there, the majority of it is donated, and a lot of it will go to the Southside Community Kitchen. And so they'll put fresh fruits and vegetables in their meals to help increase the nutritional value of the foods that they're serving the public. And it's a benefit for us because we get to eat there every day. So anybody that interns in our office gets to eat there too. That's the only thing that we have to pay them with, is we give them free home cooked food and a sense of accomplishment for what they do here. But do you guys have any questions about what goes on here? It's amazing. Yeah, and right now what's going on in there is there's a commercial kitchen in here, and it is fully licensed, and it's awesome. It's kind of probably going to give away the beans, but before they closed the school, they put in like over $100,000 in this kitchen to make it really incredible, and then the school closed, and so we get to reap the benefit of that by using the kitchen while we're here. And there's a class in there right now of kids from students. I shouldn't say kids. I always say kids because we're old now and we say kids for every age. But they're young adults that have autism and Asperger's, like they're somewhere on the spectrum, and they're learning life skills and how to cook for themselves and nutritional ways to take care of themselves. And so we do the nutrition education component of that. They do some physical education in the gym afterwards. But yeah, it's a pretty cool thing.
Thank you. Always love hearing all the great things that are happening here. We're going to turn the mic over to you, Kilpatrick, and you're going to take us through construction. Still passionate.
So probably what we'll be able to see, depending on exactly where we go, is we have a sewer separation project down here. It's a 2-year project, and what we're doing is currently both the stormwater from the roads and the sewage from the houses and everything go in one pipe. When it rains, there's not enough capacity for that. That overflows into the river. Bad thing. So since the early 90s, we've been separating those areas. This area, we actually have 3 or 4 projects. So this is a 2-year project. Then we're going to do another couple. So we're engineers and we number things and then letter them. So this is O34C, and then we have D and E, and then 34 is the regulator. So that's the overflow. At that point in time, once we do all those projects, sewer will no longer flow into the river. And we have 15 to 18 years left on this project to get through the entire city. It's usually kind of a one construction season, and then at least your road is done, and we coordinate with Consumers Energy and Board of Water and Light, so all the utilities are done at the same time.
This particular house is the Mikey 23 Foundation house. We started this back in November with the youth. I started as my son passed away a couple of years ago, so what I basically do now, I'm a licensed builder that train youth the building trade. They was getting ready to tear this house down. They had removed all the utilities and everything from out of there. But the people from the church donated the house to our foundation, and we put it together. We did some upgrades with the 2 box bay windows. We had a landscaping company come through, taught the kids how to put the landscaping down, which what you see now. There's cottage garden, which is on Waverly. And then also siding, almost all new windows. And I taught the kids again how to lay the stone, that's real stone, up under those culture stone up under the windows. So we're supposed to have been finished this month, but if anybody knows about construction, you say one day and it's 2 weeks down the road or even a month down the road. It really all depends. So basically this particular house right here, and you got the garage also too. So the garage will look identical to the house as far as the siding and the stone when we're setting done with it. It should be up for sale at the end of next month. So if you want to purchase it, come on over. You can buy it.
So what we have behind us here is some of the stormwater pipe. It's 36-inch concrete in preparation for the project down here. And these are structures that are made for the project as well. And we have other pipe down there. So this is actually what goes down in the ground. Combination of the large is the storm water, and then the smaller is the sanitary. And so once this is dug up, these structures will be put in where the manholes are, following generally the water main gets done first, and then we follow on with the storm and sanitary work. Probably can't see, well, so at the bottom of those big things are called trench boxes. So to work down as far as they are, you actually have to have that so the trench doesn't collapse on someone that's there. You can see this wrapped pipe down here. That's water main. It's down there. And then the storm sewers would be what's in those trench boxes. If you come over here, you can actually see there's a copper lead for the water service right here. So we would have had a single pipe down in there, and depending on the size, one of those in general will become the storm or the sanitary, and they'll put one more pipe in there. There's sometimes when the pipes are in bad condition, so they'll have to fix or replace the one that's in there. But if they're in decent shape, one will just continue to function carrying either storm or sanitary, and then they'll put a new pipe in. And back behind, down here, you can see this was old water main. So depending on the age of it, the Board of Water and Light will do an assessment, and they'll decide whether it's okay or they want to replace it. A lot of times they will decide to replace it at the same time we're in here because it makes sense when we have all the equipment in there, so you don't have water main breaks as soon as everything is done. And the greenish plastic pipe you see over there, that's the larger, if they have larger mains, or sometimes that will actually be the sanitary sewer there as well. And in general, at least for the water, when they put in a new section of water, before they can fill that back in, and pave it, they actually have to pressure test that and make sure that it passes standards. Otherwise, sometimes they'll have issues and it won't be sealed right or get air in it. And at that point in time, they'll have to fix wherever that leak is before they can move on. So that's why they kind of do these in segments. There are other issues that sometimes we will have when we put in the new sewer and do a connection. It may not be with the city main, but there may be a bad connection from the private property owner that's not discovered until we do that work. And those are some things that we probably should tell people about, that really with this, there's an opportunity. If you've been having issues, you might want to know that up front, so you know that your main is clear all the way to the city main, because that's by city ordinance currently, that's private property owner's responsibility all the way to where it ties into the main in the street. So if you have an issue with your private main and we go through here and you don't realize that until afterwards, well, then you've kind of missed a bit of an opportunity to do that while this is all torn up, and then it has to be torn up again.
Hi everybody, I'm Alice Brinkman. I'm the executive director here at REACH, also the founding director. So REACH started out in this building right here, and in 2013 we got an impact grant that made it possible for us to purchase the whole block of buildings here. And since 2013 we've been redeveloping the spaces into a bigger community art center. So we do a lot of after school programs. We're very busy right now with summer camps. We've got like 4 different camps going on at the same time. We service about a little over 1,200 youth each year, and that counts for over 5,000 enrollments in a year. So we do a lot of art programming. So we mainly do visual arts, but we've just added a media lab and a performing arts center and a textile studio.
So we actually have a bunch of additional signs, and we've made these at REACH with the help of Alice, as well as donations of some materials. So we've got them installed at 3 locations right now. We've got enough materials for 3 additional locations, as well as additional signs. So as new things come to the neighborhood, new restaurants, new features, we'll just kind of continue to add to them. And then with that, with the help of the city, we're installing more features at the park this year. More benches for the basketball courts. We'll be installing wayfinding signs there, maps of the river trail, as well as kind of listing the places available in Rio Town like Ellison, and just trying to help build and kind of actually nurture the sense of community in the neighborhood. And REACH has been huge for that, and helping us as a meeting place, as well as providing resources and actual bodies to do the work.
We're gonna be like 30 seconds, otherwise Andy gives me the hook. You have all of the Andys of our cabinet here. You have me, you have Kilpatrick, Crawford. It's really cool to be here. We talked to a lot of the Walnut neighbors, and I think this is one of the bigger turnouts we've had at a Walking Wednesday, and that really goes to show the passion that folks have for this neighborhood. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited to see all the different pieces. I have clearly walked many of the streets and knocked a lot of doors, but haven't done it with Dale telling me all about it, so I get to have Dale tell me all about it.
I've got kind of a route, and I've got 10 stops that I think are very important, so I want to get right to it. So first stop is right over here by the riverfront. Come on over. They're talking about one day putting in bike trails that extend out from Old Town all the way down to here, with old time lights like we have in Old Town and things like that. And can you imagine a development over there, condos or something? And then this, imagine this, just picture it, this vision of this, a market over there, some sort of development, both on this beautiful riverfront. You've got Olympic Broil here. It could be very, very nice, and a continuous hookup with bike paths all the way down and connecting up to the river trail in a loop.
We don't have all the property there. We have some property on this side of the river. That would be Well, you have consumers up there. You have BWL property. We have railroad property. We have a wastewater treatment plant, all on this side of the river. On the other side of the river is Tecumseh Park, and so ultimately we would like to get just on the other side of Waverly there, and that would connect us to Delta Township. It's not that far, but property is in 100 foot. I mean, if we don't have that easement or anything through there, we can't get through.
There have been several grants that Brett has brought to us, Natural Resources Trust Fund grants and others, and we'll continue to explore them. And we'll continue to work with our council partners to make sure that we can get those done. We'd had 5 of them that we proposed a few weeks, 2 months ago, and council approved them either unanimously or with one dissenting vote for parks all around the city. So we are always going to continue to pursue other people's money and try and spend state and federal grants.
There's we're going to see them. There's some unbelievable homes going up Capitol here, all the way to Oakland. It goes all the way to Oakland, Washington to Oakland. And right now it ends right there at Washington, and then that's it. It's only the commercial district of Old Town. And what a historic district does is it prevents people from just putting siding on some pole barn, doing whatever they want to do with the property, tear it down. One other thing to say, Andy Kilpatrick, they're going to take Grand River, Cesar Chavez is going to be 2 bike paths all the way up to Seymour. That's coming. Coming next summer? This summer. 2 bike paths up to Seymour. And I'm kind of pushing for the lights, not the freeway lights, but the nice...
But free lights, right?
The pretty old town lights instead of the freeway lights. And that's coming. That is coming.
Yeah, we're also, Washington is going to actually shrink.
Yes.
Right now it's extremely wide and for no real good reason.
Yeah.
So it's going to shrink and we're going to have a little more green space here in the middle.
And bike trails as well.
Down here, yep. Yep, down to Maple.
This park here, Burchard Park, Walnut's neighborhood side of Burchard Park, it's not much of a park, you know, it's pretty narrow, and we've got, I don't know, and ASME parking lot, you know, takes over. I don't know that they need all that parking. They're the state, I know they're very important to the officials here. They lobby for higher wages for municipal and city and state workers. But what a great thing it would be for them to offer, a portion. Look at this. You drive down here, private parking. This could be a nice place. And I don't know, we can just walk up here to the end of the street and look at it, and then we'll turn around.
We're here tonight in the Genesee neighborhood in downtown Lansing. Going to talk about some history of the neighborhood, hear from some neighbors about the things that are going well in the neighborhood, some things they'd like to see changed. We're here also with our community police officer, Officer Schmidt, and we're going to be on this nice summer evening making sure that we get an opportunity to hand out some ice cream bars to kids in the neighborhood and talk with neighbors just about what they like and what they want to see improved here in Genesee. So we are going to take a tour with some folks here, and hopefully you can join us at future walks, or if you can't be at a walk, we're happy to bring it to you at home on TV. So here we go.
Okay, we're starting off here at the corner of MLK and Lapeer Street at Grace Lutheran Church. We're going to be walking down Lapeer Street over to Saginaw, going down Butler to Shiawassee, and checking out the neighborhood. The main concern is the blighted areas, especially over on the Saginaw Street area, and which comes all the way through to the pier due to this parking lot that's over here that is connected to one of the stores, a closed up store, which is one of the blighted buildings. And everybody just thinks it's a place to dump their trash, and that is just totally full constantly with trash. They don't cut the brush, so it's a danger to the neighborhood. Family-owned houses in the neighborhood are still in pretty good condition. The church here and the church property is pretty good. We do have Ferris Park over there, which tends to be kept up pretty good. And El Teco, the restaurant over on Saginaw Street, they're cleaning up their properties good. They just put in a outdoor deck, and people are using that. The parking lot is constantly full.
This is a cool building, clearly an old bank.
It was a beautiful bank when I was a kid here.
Yeah.
And this used to be a restaurant.
Okay.
That used to be a hardware, a fruit market that was in that empty lot. You had the Five and Dime, you had a grocery store, 2 grocery stores. One where the laundromat was a grocery store, and then that was a Market Basket up there. And at one time there was a fish and chips place on the corner.
Okay. People talk about this intersection being that if you lived right around here, you could do all of your business.
Everything.
It was completely comprehensive in terms of what you could do.
Back in the 60s, you could do everything right here. You had the grocery, you had drugstores, you had the barber shops, you had beauty salons, you had a bakery, you had, you had anything you wanted. You could just walk over here and get. And this, just gas station, repair shop. You had the first house there used to be a dentist. Had the downstairs, and you had a dentist office was in there.
Okay.
Yep. All of Shenora's properties are for sale. She's selling them all. This neighborhood, back when I was a kid, in the bottom down there was a hairdresser.
Okay.
My mom used to go to all the time. And that building over there used to be a laundromat. A dry cleaners. It used to be a dry cleaners. And on the corner was a building that had a mom and pop's grocery down the bottom.
Enjoy your night.
See how the houses sit way back?
Wow.
That's at one time they were going to build houses all through the middle.
Wow, interesting.
See, now here's a bad
That's a bad
sidewalk.
one. And that can be cut.
Yeah, that could be the shaved down thing.
Yep. Hey, Aaron, can you do a connect sidewalk piece
Probably
on
that address there.
Because that can be shaved.
At the driveway of 726.
I'm the community police officer for the Genesee neighborhood. I've been in the Genesee neighborhood for a year, and I look forward to spending time and meeting people in the neighborhood. I continue to meet people every day, and tonight we're passing out ice cream sandwiches to interact with the people within the community. We're looking forward to a great and safe summer.
Do you guys live around here? Where do you come from?
Yeah, we live around here.
Okay.
Like 5 minutes from here.
Okay. So are you excited about the World Cup?
Oh yeah.
Yeah? Who are we rooting for?
Oh my God, Portugal.
For Portugal?
Yeah.
How are they going to do?
They will do a good job.
They're going to do good?
Yeah, for Ronaldo.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's that? Who's your country?
France.
France? How are they going to do?
Oh, my country. They're going to do good, of course.
They're going to do good.
Brazil.
Brazil?
Yep.
Okay. Are you Brazilian?
No, no.
Where are you from?
I'm from Cameroon.
Okay.
But they failed to qualify, but we don't mind.
Well, so did the United States. So
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. That's
we can't say much.
That's true.
Okay, so Cameroon. Where are you from?
Sam.
Same from Cameroon. That's your brother.
Yeah.
Okay. What about you?
Ura in Africa. Sam, can we hear speak English?
You are full of it. What about you?
Tanzania.
Tanzania. Okay.
I'm from Cameroon.
Okay. You're from Cameroon. Where are you from?
Yeah.
Tanzania.
I'm from Lyon, France.
Lyon, France.
Yeah, Lyon. Tu parles français? Tanzania.
Okay. Oh, wow. Okay, Tanzania. So explain to me the rules of Beacon Field, because I know it's self-governing. So how's it work?
We're gonna make a team.
Okay.
Out of 5, like
Okay.
5 people.
Okay.
So we're gonna put 10 minutes or 2 goals.
10 minutes or 2 goals?
Yeah. So if you score 2 goals in 10 minutes, then your team out. The next team go in.
Okay. Oh, but winner stays, right?
Yeah, the winner stay always.
Okay,
Until
winner
you
stays.
lose and you get out.
Okay.
Yeah.
And most of the folks who play at this field, because I hear stories that they come in from Grand Ledge and they come in from other places.
Actually, they come from everywhere.
How long you been in the U.S.?
I've been here for like 10 years.
Okay.
Since 2008, we got here.
Okay.
Yeah.
All of you go to Sexton?
No, I go to Everett.
You go Everett?
Yeah, I already graduated.
You already graduated?
Yeah. That's not bad, my friend. That's good.
I'm a Sexton grad.
Really? Sexton, he's a big red.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's all right. But we can all.
Well before you guys were even born.
Really? That's nice.
73.
Well, have a great game tonight.
No problem.
And
Thank you
enjoy
guys for the ice cream.
You're welcome. Enjoy the World Cup.
We will for sure.
Go France.
Go for Portugal.
Go Portugal.
No, go for France. Go for Portugal, or you can go to Spain.
Oh, okay.
That's my boys score right there.
All right.
I love my team.
They're bandwagoners.
Thank you guys
All
so
right,
much.
bye guys. Have you seen what Beacon looks like? So we're gonna take a look at the field. So one of the things we hear about Beacon is that it's always pickup. So you can't reserve this field. It's not for organized practices or games. So it's always pickup. And then the guys and gals that play here, you know, they really devised what the rules are, and you heard them talk about it. 10-minute games, 2 goals, winner stays. Lights come on. People are playing. What time do you play here till?
Till 11.
Okay.
That's what the light turn off. I mean.
They turn off at 11?
Yeah, when it's get dark, so we all go home.
Okay. So this field has been so successful that we're working to build Beacon Southwest down at Pleasant Grove and Holmes, right behind Southside Community Coalition. And you got the water fountain. Yeah, that makes a big difference, doesn't it? You guys want some ice cream? Come on over.
You see the barricade down here to keep people from turning off of Pine Street, and you can only turn one way. And there's another one down on Sycamore Street by Saginaw. That's the same way. The neighborhood watch and my mother was instrumental in putting those in. We had a big problem with prostitution and drugs in this area, and by restricting the traffic flow, they were able to keep a better control of it, and the officers had a better chance of stopping somebody when they saw them turning illegally. So those barricades definitely did their job.
Don't forget the sparkle today.
Hi, Donald Trump.
I'm Catherine.
So tell us about co-housing. What is it? Why do you live in it?
I moved to co-housing when I started grad school at MSU, and I was looking for a way to get involved with the community and had lived in other intentional communities in the past. So kind of the mission of co-housing is to create neighborhood how it was or is supposed to be, so people sharing resources and getting together and, you know, sharing childcare, and we have potlucks every week, and we have different committees that help take care of our different buildings and shared spaces. So, yeah.
So, how many folks live in? What's the name of this?
It's
club?
Genesee Gardens Co-housing.
Okay.
It's mostly around the Bancroft Court and the surrounding block. So if you live in the vicinity, you don't have to be a part of co-housing, but it's one of the potential opportunities you have.
Okay. And how long has it existed?
We are having our 15-year reunion in 2 weekends. So not this weekend, but the coming weekend.
Okay.
So.
And how many folks live here currently?
So it fluctuates. I think there's about 8 households that are pretty steady. So the great thing about co-housing is it's very diverse. There's college students, there's young families, there's older folks in the community that are all part of it. I think right now we have maybe 30 members.
Okay.
But
do people own their individual properties?
yeah, so co-housing, unlike a co-op where everybody's living together in the same house, co-housing is a bunch of individually owned properties with people coming together for a common purpose. We do have, we do have a shared common house that is owned by the LLC and the shared common garden, which is also owned by the LLC, but otherwise the houses are individually owned.
Okay. And so did it start smaller and then expand?
Yeah, so I think there were 3 founding families.
Okay.
I wasn't here when it started.
Okay.
But they
Hi, ladies.
started.
So we're talking about co-housing in your neighborhood. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi.
Here you go, guys.
I'm Fancita. What else did I say? Brown. Yeah. I'm 14.
Okay. And you are?
I'm Paige Dewey.
Excellent. And how long have you guys lived here?
This is my friend. She doesn't live here, but
okay. You're just stopping by.
Me and my mom have lived here for like 5 years.
Okay. What's the best thing about your neighborhood?
That we communicate and we all are one.
Okay.
Yeah.
In the co-housing environment.
Yep.
Okay. And
That's what co-housing means.
right. Is communication. Okay.
We have potlucks every Friday, which is really fun.
Who's the best cook?
I don't know.
Oh, what's the best dish you've ever had?
I like pasta.
Okay.
So there's homemade ravioli a lot, and it's really good.
Okay, and when do these take place? Because I am pretty interested.
Every Friday.
Taco Tuesday. Okay.
Yeah.
That's all I know.
Okay. Excellent.
Yesterday was Tuesday.
And we missed it. But
Today
today's
is Wednesday. So.
and there's ice cream. So
yeah,
it's pretty good too. Have fun. Be safe. Have a wonderful summer,
Thank
ladies.
you.